What is the new weapon that is present in China's hand and it is going to use it to bring its dominance back in the global order? How is US falling behind in China in this particular context, and how US and China are going to fight again, but not this time in tariffs? China is coming out way ahead in the tech diplomacy race with the open AI. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh and today we are going to understand that how is OpenAI China's top weapon when we are talking about tech diplomacy and global competition. How is USA losing out in terms of this particular competition with China? And also, what are the global implications when we talk about the AI future that is in front of us? So here in this situation, we have to understand that China's OpenAI source, that is like when we are talking about DeepSeek R, which has been recently launched, we need to understand that there was a necessity for China because of the ban that originated in US. So let us get into the details of it, starting with understanding that what has exactly happened. So China launched DeepSeek R recently and it is a AI model, but the main highlight here is, the USP here is that it is available for free. Now it gives you the requirement, the basic tools from AI for free, unlike ChatGPT, unlike Claude, where you have to pay a certain fees to get their best versions. And this is being called China's version of GPT-4. So when we talk about ChatGPT-4 is the best version which is available, and here it is available for free. So we are getting the most advanced version in terms of AI for free, and it has been kept open. It has been kept open. Now, when we understand this particular launch, we cannot see it in a silo. We have to understand when China has launched it, what are the implications that we are talking about. So when we talk about the implication, the biggest implication that lies in front of us, that how it has impacted the Western world. A very good example to see that would be this particular chart. It shows that how the tech world market, specifically US, suffered a huge hit as soon as DeepSeek was launched. So when we talk about this particular Chinese open AI, where we see a loss of over $1 trillion in terms of value of stocks related to US tech market, it clearly shows when we are talking about AI power, it will not stay limited to the Western bloc, and the dominance in terms of AI is up for fight. Now, if it is up for fight, and with this particular launch, China seems to be having the advantage. What is the advantage that we are talking about? It is the cost advantage and it is the tech diplomacy advantage. It is the global competition advantage. So when we are talking about cost advantage, the DeepSeek was built at the cost under $6 million. However, when we talk about US-based AIs, for example, ChatGPT-4, it reportedly cost more than hundreds of millions of dollars to be built. So here we have a cheaper version which provides as much as the best version of ChatGPT does, but it is available for free. When we talk about ChatGPT-4, you have to pay a basic fee to avail the tools that are coming with. Now, here we are able to look that DeepSeek is giving an advantageous position to China, but not just in these terms. We have to understand this beyond the basic dimensions of just economics. Now, another good question that comes is that how did China get to do it at such a lower cost? Now, this is not the only aspect that we will be talking about. We will be starting this story from the US ban. So, when we talk about this particular ban, so US banned the high-tech AI chips which were exported to US to China, and China was using these chips. Now, US decided to exert their dominance by banning the advanced chips which were NVIDIA's H100, A100, and they were sanctioned. They were not accessible to China. Now, what China did, this was a very smart play that China came up with. they decided to go for the cheaper alternatives. That is NVIDIA's H800 chips, which are basically helping them bypass the export bans. So the sanctions which are present are for these advanced chips, not for the lesser advanced chips. And China decided to use this to build up their program. Now, this not only gave them the cost advantage that we were just talking about, China was also able to build their own OpenAI platform, and that means their dependence on US went down. Furthermore, they have hit the US tech market, and now they are the top runner when we are talking about dominance, in terms of dominance, especially of the AI world. Now, this has what delivered the affordability and accessibility rather than secrecy, which we see in ChatGPT, when we talk about Claude. When we see all these models, they are not open. They are based on fees, they are based on royalty fees, etc. Now we have a fair idea that what we are talking about, how DeepSeek is basically a game changer, a weapon in China's hand. Because when we are talking about the war, tariff war that is going on between US and China, you have to understand the idea is to hit both of these countries in terms of money. If they will bleed out economically, the other country will get to rise up. So this is another futuristic way of hitting the other country economically, or standing in terms of their self-dependence. Now moving ahead, now let us talk about now how China, or why China going open source and why it becomes important. So when we talk about open source AI, let us talk about open source AI. It is nothing but all the models and tools related to AI which is available to public for free. So they can use it, they can modify it, they can improve it. For example, like Android, it is available free to use. If you compare it with Apple, it is available at a cheaper cost, it is free to use, and it is powerful as well as customizable. So this will help to increase the quantity as well as popularity of DeepSeek itself, because DeepSeek is an open source AI. But if we go beyond this, if we go beyond understanding just what exactly is open source AI, we also need to understand that why is China doing it. So first of all, the reason China has gone for open source AI because of the chips that they are using. And in this particular scenario, the H800 chips by NVIDIA that they are using is just to avoid the ban that is present on the US chips, export ban. And this will open AI idea will also facilitate building of global economy and also improve models way faster. That means there will be faster innovation which we will be able to see, because the modification and customization is available to everybody. Other than that, it will also facilitate faster adoption. That means open source AI, as it is available for free, people will be using the Chinese model because the accessibility is present there, and that is what is going to create Chinese dominance across the world. So when we are talking about future of AI, it is not just going to be open AI, accessible to all. The future is also looking Chinese dominant. Other than that, this format, this idea is also being implemented by Alibaba. Alibaba is also released Qwen 3 models which are also open source AI. Other than that, we have seen open source AI coming from France, Mistral AI. Both of these are examples of OpenAI. So definitely in the coming times, we will see decline of secret AIs which are keeping themselves closed, but open options which can be used by everybody, accessible by everybody, be it DeepSeek, be it what Alibaba Qwen 3 is launching, or Mistral AI. Now moving ahead from here, let us understand how this impacts US and its economy. So first of all, first very good example that we saw was the stock market value crash that came in the moment DeepSeek was launched. So that was not only the problem, terms of tech market. It is going to impact the AI models and tools which are coming from Silicon Valley, because these models are the ones which have not shown much adoption with the changing time. No new value addition has been seen in them, and furthermore, they are closed. So their usability will go down in coming times. So the presence of these models is going to decline. And if free AI is equally good as ChatGPT, as Claude, then obviously the preference of the people would be towards open source AIs rather than the ones which are closed and they are money based. Now let us go into a comparison, not comparison exactly, trying to understand the characteristics related to the US model. So when we are talking about the US model, most of these models are closed as well as expensive. I've talked about ChatGPT, I have mentioned Claude, Gemini. Other than that, the focus is on getting big business deals, corporate deals, and there has been no conversation or the buzz about making it open and accessible to general public. Other than that, we are also seeing that there has been very slow rollout. So since the introduction of ChatGPT, you will find there has been limited addition of new features. Other than that, big projects like Stargate, that means there is millions worth of money. Here we are talking about $500 billion, where the US focus is more on control, that who will be using AI, rather than focus on the AI community, that it should be accessible and present for everybody. Now, all these clearly is not working in the favor of US. What they wanted to do through the export ban, limit China's growth. That made China self-dependent. They were able to make their own model. They decided to not give the advanced AI chips. China started working on making AI chips. Other than that, they also wanted to remain dominant in the AI world, which is also being threatened as of now. And these warning signs are clear. Even NVIDIA's CEO went ahead and said the US chips ban, whatever the intentions were, rather it helped China to build its own chip industry, and very fast. The adoption was really fast. Other than that, it has also went ahead and shot down the chances of US dominance, especially that we see in the coming time. Now, this clearly highlights the irony where the step was taken to address the dominance, to keep the dominance, to hold the dominance for US, but it has basically shot down, and now China is going to use this open source AI just like earlier versions of Facebook, which is coming from Silicon Valley, US, when we are talking about other projects like Google, which is also coming from Silicon Valley, US. So the model that US was using, same model China is going to use, and that is going to be against US. So this clearly highlights the space we are in and how China decided to make an opportunity, especially of a distressed situation. And this AI, open AI, is not going to only dominate the world, but it is going to be China's way of making sure, just like rare earth minerals when we are talking about, just like to make sure that people are dependent on China when we are talking about AI tools, AI models, etc. I hope you are clear with this idea that how dominance can be controlled when we are talking about supply and origination. If you want to read into more about rare earth minerals, you can go and watch a video that I have done. It is in the playlist of Flash News, and you will get a clearer idea there. Now let us move ahead and understand the implications that it has for India and the rest of the world, because such news would not make sense, especially for your context, if they are not connected with the demand and the syllabus of your paper. So if we talk about the implications for India, we have to understand, as much as open source is available, we have to balance between US and China, because both of them are important for us, but they have been in the finicky situation all the time. Other than that, we have already been working on Bhashini, we are working on national AI model and public data assets. We need to speeden this up. Why? Because we also do not want to be dependent in terms of models, in terms of technology. And these open source models which are coming up, Qwen 3, Mistral AI, DeepSeek, this will facilitate to India that they should be able to build better, cheaper and faster AI tools, and this whole industry, especially I'm talking with reference to Indian industry, should get a boom in coming times as well. When we talk about the world, the dynamics have definitely changed with DeepSeek coming into this. China's censorship that we see, especially in the regions of Taiwan, Tibet, they are definitely distrusting for the globe. But the models, the free models will definitely be used by the globe because of the low cost and easy access. But we have to keep in mind the strategic risk which is involved. If AI is fully open, that means anyone, that means who are not even friendly people, adversaries, they will be able to use it as well as misuse it. So that needs to be tackled well in time. And at the same time, if we go from open model to closed model, that will lead to concentration of power, that will lead to inequalities, which we do not want. So there has to be a very fine balance. If we are going for open source, it needs preparedness and it needs protection as well. Now I'm going to leave you with a question. You have to tell me that how India is already using AI in terms of diplomacy in different multilateral forums. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.